Well, hello. So today is going to be a little bit different because I want to talk about what makes Linux, in my mind's eye, comparable to a mainstream operating system. I mean, when you think of mainstream operating systems, you think of ones that pretty much will let you do whatever it is that you want to do with your computer in the sense of, say, you want to watch a movie or, some type of video online. Well, you just open up your operating system and there you go. Or say you want to play a game, just fire up your gaming software and play a game. Or maybe you have a either video presentation or some type of presentation for something that you're a project that you're a part of, and it's your turn to pretty much so put on a show for coworkers or maybe even the clients or something like that, and you need to, you know do a presentation and talk about your aspect of the project that you're working on. Well, for those few things that I just mentioned, you're either going to use Windows or Mac, right? Because that's what is known for. I mean, like Mac, one of the things that Mac's known for is music, software and editing. It is bar none, some of the number one operating system used for that kind of stuff. Now, gaming, everybody knows, and it's been said over and over and over again, many multiple billions of times out there in forums and web pages and other YouTubers. That Windows is the holy grail for gaming. If you want to play on, video games on computer, on PC, it's Windows. But I think, to me, the operating system that definitely, and I know people say, well, Linux is not an operating system, it's a kernel. And they're right, it is the kernel, but operating systems are built off kernels. So that being said, Linux, I think, is a contender now for the mainstream to be a mainstream operating system, and it's fast gaining popularity. That's evident in different forums and different Facebook groups and different places all over the internet. You see it being talked about more and more. Used to be that Linux was known as the server world. In other words, if you wanted a quality server, it was built off Linux. AWS, Linux based. Everything's all the servers out there are Linux based. Microsoft tried to get into the server world decades ago and kind of fell on its face. I don't even think Mac even made a server or even tried to get into it in any way, shape, or form. But I mean, Linux servers have dominated the server game for decades, decades and decades. That is a given. But when it comes to the actual mainstream operating system desktop environment, it was always either historically Windows or Mac. But Linux belongs in there now. It really does. The desktop environments that have been created, the hundreds of them, all achieve different things. But the one thing that Linux does that the other ones cannot do is it gives you 100% freedom of flexibility. By that, I mean, with Linux, you can set up your desktop environment, your Linux operating system, the one that you downloaded and you installed meticulously onto your hardware. You could configure it and set it up to do whatever it is in particular that you want to do. If you want to create a multimedia content creation desktop or operating system, it's there. If you want to create one for gaming, it's there. If you want to create one for, I don't know, writing a book, text editing, that kind of stuff, it's there. I mean, it's all there. It's just a matter of what applications you really put onto it. And because it comes as a base form in the initial setup, where you've got, in most situations, I mean, there are some distributions that you can download out there that are bloated beyond all means with a bunch of different software, and some of them two and three different applications of the same type of application, like video editing or audio recording or whatever. But either way, you can strip it all down and you can get a very base one and literally build it to what you want it to be, geared for. So if you want to be game centric, you can do that. If you want to be multimedia creative, then you can do it that way. I mean, whatever you want to do, graphics creative, you can do it that way. I mean, there's so many. That's the one thing that Linux adds to the market, in my opinion, that Windows and Mac just don't. They're geared to do what they do specifically. Like with Mac, you can create all things you want all day long on there. You can create presentations, you can create audio stuff, you can create graphical stuff, you can create all kinds of stuff on there, but you damn well can't game on there. No, not at all. Very, very difficult to game on Mac. Windows, you can game all day long on that thing, but can you really create quality videos and stuff like that? You can, but not. It's more flexible than Mac for sure, but it's nowhere near as adept at it as Mac. The softwares that they have, I mean, they have some cross-platform stuff like Kdenlive, Live, OBS, that kind of stuff, but other than that, they're it's not as easy, not as readily easily, and it's not well known for it. You know what I mean? But for gaming, you mentioned the word gaming in any circle that you go to anywhere, and you're going to get Windows right off the bat. So I mean, you can do that. But Linux, Linux offers that flexibility. Linux offers the flexibility of you creating it for whatever it is that you want it to be. So that's why I think Linux definitely belongs in the mainstream OS, format comment. Because it is by all means that. It's just not really known for it because it's getting to the, I guess it's coming to the table late, so to speak. And it's true. We have been delayed in coming to the table for the mainstream OS for a long time. And a lot of it has to do with, I think, two components. And the first one is packaging. Packages for it, applications for it. A lot of developers just hadn't been creating stuff for it, and drivers didn't help out either, especially prominent video graphics drivers, and we all know who I'm talking about, but they didn't help out either. So, I mean, that was a thing. A lot of people didn't gain a lot of faith or trust in Linux because of that. Some of that also is due to there wasn't a lot of development for it because a lot of people weren't considering it as a viable operating system. Then two, the other thing is our communities, and this is the one that really, 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 I think, prevented a lot of development and even being considered. And that's because our communities, it isn't the vast number of communities or the openness of our communities, it was the attitudes of our communities. And this is an important thing because a lot of our community, there quite a while, have been somewhat negative. I mean, in the recent years, it's changing. We're getting more people in it who are, have a different outlook. They're more positive, I guess would be the best way to put it. They're no longer, they're helping each other more and more when questions are asked, especially of new people. Whereas in the past, historically, it's been a very negative experience where you would ask questions that were pretty new and somebody would, come back at you with, Google it, or what's wrong with you? How could you not know this? And how could you not be this? I mean, you still see it every now and then, but nowhere near as prevalent as you did before. And to me, that's a big plus. And I think that is in and of itself what's actually moving Linux forward. And I'm happy to see that because, like I said, I've been using Linux for decades, and there's times where I've walked away from it in those decades because of the negativity, and it was something I had a hard time with. But it's gotten so much better, and I love our communities, especially now more than ever. And we're all seem to be working in the same phase of trying to positively put Linux out there. And so it's the times for Linux right now are so bright and so clear that it's a wonderful thing. I really enjoy that, and I look forward to the growth that we're going to have with Linux. So, guys, I want to say thank you for supporting this channel because I try to put out things for Linux in a positive way. I'm trying to grow this wonderful kernel that we have and these operating systems that are developed off of it, and these desktop environments are just, in the beginning they were ugly, and now they're beautiful. I mean, this is wonderful. I mean, it's just great where Linux has come and where it's going. The future is wide open for it. I mean, there's so many different things being used in developed for it. It's so great. I'm excited, and I'm glad that we're all here together and we can all enjoy our little piece of it for whatever it is that we want to make of it. So, guys, y'all have a great day. You guys keep on Linuxing. Share the positivity of Linux, man, with your friends, and free them of the confines of both Windows and Mac. And just do what you guys do. Stay blessed. Bye.